is. Yep, 204. 204. We are live. All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning. And back to notes. And here we go.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the...
So there I was on the back ramp of a C-130 over Afghanistan, blacker than the inside of a cat, and I realized I'm not tethered to the aircraft.
So you were airborne. You were airborne.
I was about as close as you can come to airborne and departed.
Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, man. Excuse the cough. Greetings, everyone. 3P here. You're listening to So There I Was. And that's how a terrifying aviation tales begin. Coming to you from Houston, Texas today. Where is my co-host?
Well, I'm blessed enough to be at home, Kearney, Missouri, God's country. And it's our pleasure to welcome to So There I Was, DC from DCArtworks.com. Welcome.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks. Happy to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, thrilled to have you. So, right up front, obviously, we've been chatting about DC Artworks for the last couple and a half months or so, and thrilled with your stuff. But you were yeah, it is badass stuff, and we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But you were a listener before a sponsor, and obviously a crew member, flight engineer on the C-130. How'd that start for you? What unit were you in? How'd you get there? Why'd you do that?
Well, it kind of started out with a series of unfortunate events and just a will to not accept no. I guess either that or I was too stupid to take the hint that they were telling me no and found loopholes. I'll actually go with the latter because it sounds better for an enlisted guy. But I started out in maintenance. I was a crew chief. When I joined in 2002, I had to get several waivers just to get in because I was involved in a pretty bad car accident in 1993. It split my skull open, and I had to get several waivers just to get in. And at the time, in 2001, 2002, because the waiver process and all that, I was told, okay, you can enlist, but you'll never fly. And I thought, okay, hold my beer. Watch this. 6 years later, I got tired of freezing my ass off on the flight line. Hat tip to those fine folks out there, though. Decided I wanted to put a set of pajamas on and go fly the damn thing. And the rest is kind of history. But all a Guard baby. I've been with the Missouri Air National Guard since May of 2002. So pretty much stationed there the entire time, with the exception of my current assignment, which I took in 2019. I moved out here to the Capital Region in DC to manage the flight engineer career field.
Okay, so you're thinking of sticking with it, is what you're telling us.
I mean, it's been 24 years. I haven't found a reason to stop yet, or they haven't fired me. So,
Right on.
Yeah, he's been doing it a minute.
Yeah, I can't think how many times we've told people, Fig, that Air National Guard is the best kept secret in the military as far as a way to serve.
I'll tell you what, had I known, my path may have been different.
I don't think I would have been a Marine officer if I'd have known I could have gone straight to flight school and
of course, I
flown
wouldn't be
airplanes for an entire
the
career.
man I am today, though. I tell you
Right
that.
on. There's that. It's a different path. There's no doubt about it. So,
And I'm not
most
saying
definitely.
that's a bad thing. I'm just saying Marine Corps
Yeah,
got a way of affecting a person.
right, crawling
We don't-
through
we
the
don't
red
know.
dirt of Virginia. The Quigley, as we talked about it, that little slice of hell on another show. We got to do all that shit. So yeah,
Right.
so
That's right.
yeah, it's a different path indeed. But well, chat with us about the Air National Guard. Would you recommend it to a young person coming up today?
I mean, absolutely, I would. See, I had the intention, I think, of most people when they joined the Air National Guard or reserves, it's to help pay for college.
Sure.
And that was exactly my mindset. I was going to do 6 years, a touch and go, so to speak. I didn't know what a touch and go was then because I was just turning wrenches. But the point being, that was my intention. I didn't foresee this becoming a career and my path well into actually it was about my 5.5 year, and I decided, no, what the hell, that was a quick 6 years. I can give them at least another six, as long as I can fly. So
Okay.
had the original intent, like I said, to pay for college and get the benefits and things like that out of it. And this is kind of what I try to tell folks when I do traveling for the Guard Bureau, is the amount that you get is it's unmeasurable for what you can or for what you plan to get, so to speak. Um,
Mhm.
the community, the lessons, the camaraderie, the life lessons. I mean, I like most. I went to a college and got a damn 4 year degree. And I can tell you maybe a little bit from one class, recalling all that, that's stuck with me. But the shit that I've picked up over a career, of just relentless banter, wall to wall counseling, thick skinning. That's kind of shaped who I am, and the type of person, type of father, friend, leader that I am. So I would absolutely encourage it to anybody. It's your words, not mine. But yeah, it is the best kept secret. I can't tell you how many times I've gone TDY, especially in the early part of my career. There was a small stint where I went and became a volunteer cop or an augmentee with security forces. And I was working with mostly young active duty members. So we're talking 18, 19 years old. And I'm standing there, outrank them, but we're standing at a gate together checking IDs because I'm not qualified to do anything else. And we get to talking about the guard, and they're like, "Well, what the hell's the guard?"
Yeah.
And turns
Right.
out they've got a unit that's within an hour or 2 hours of where they grew up, and they had no clue. So that was always kind of fun getting to kind of spill those beans and watch the oh shit wash over their face and go, shit, I didn't have to be here.
Right.
Right.
It
Whoops.
was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's fantastic.
and then there's that. What?
Yep.
There's the guard?
Yeah. What the
Yeah.
hell is that?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're talking about the college and what you remember from that reminds me of the old SNL sketch with Father Guido Sarducci and his 5-minute college course, right? Look it up, kids.
That's
Yeah.
a pretty accurate description.
Yeah. I can tell you in 5 minutes what I learned in 4 years of college.
Well, and poke holes in this, Derrick. I think that for an enlisted person, being part of a flight crew, flight engineer, loadmaster, boom operator, is probably the very best enlisted MOS you could get.
Oh shit, hands down, absolutely.
And and
I don't.
can you expand on that? Why it's so awesome?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I can speak from the perspective of that was one of my motivating factors leaving maintenance, leaving, becoming, or being a crew chief to become a flight engineer and flight crew. I got the opportunity as a crew chief to go on trips, with the crew sometimes. And so I saw a little bit more outside of, what you just see inside the confounds of the base, the typical 9 to 5 shit. And it's a whole other world. It really is. There's a whole other aspect of appreciation for the small, simple things. But in terms of the enlisted and then being a flyer, in my personal opinion, it absolutely is the best job that you can do enlisted in the military, because you're considered part of a crew. And when you guys know just as well as I do, being part, with airlines and then your backgrounds, having a crew aircraft, there's no rank when you step on board the jet. Everybody's a subject matter expert. We work as a team. Ultimately, it's the aircraft commander's decision, but we work as a damn team. And that is the most fun part of being a crew member, especially on the enlisted side of the house, is just being part of a bigger team, maybe much less spoken about or seen. But you don't have to deal with a lot of the bullshit that kind of comes into play. The line of sight. Hey, I got something for you. No, you don't. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready to step to the jet. That ain't happening, brother.
Nice.
Yep.
And I'm going to point out some of the obvious parts, but when you're part of an air crew and you all stay in a certain location, guess where you stay as an enlisted guy?
It's a shelter half tent in the field.
Wherever the officers are staying, because you're part of an air crew and you stay with your pilots, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you eat what they eat, you stay where they stay, and it's like, that's the best damn thing ever.
You don't have to go sleep on the wet grass? Come on, man. That's awesome.
Fig, I just had a flashback of Cameroon.
I have flashbacks from Cameroon all the time.
Don't go postal, Fig.
No, Cameroon was good. Niger, not so much.
Yeah. Well, to Fig's point, the reason that brought up and the sleeping in the grass was, we got the luxury of sleeping in a hotel rather than the tents on the airfield, like the other folks, unfortunate souls, had to do. And there was a rule. There was a rule that unless you needed water at the hotel, you didn't touch the pallets and pallets and pallets of water when you left. But amongst the crew, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Fig, we had an internal standing order that if you had an empty hand, it wasn't empty. You'd better damn well grab a case of water, because we had other purposes for that water back at the hotel.
We had an ice machine with us.
and that was, that just produced little nuggets of gold for the entirety of our trip.
Yes, it did.
Well, you got to break at least one loose there. Come on.
Well, when we were in the first location up in Niger, there was no. Wait, was Niger? There was no alcohol in Niger?
Niger was the no booze.
Okay, so and you couldn't drink the water, and so of course, you couldn't go anywhere and not have booze. That's crap. So we were going to smuggle in the booze, but then the issue became, I identified the weak link in the chain before we ever left. Is, oh shit, if we can't drink the water, it means we can't have ice. Ooh, we better bring an ice machine. So I ordered an ice machine. We took it out there, and that's why the bottled water going back to the hotel was always important, because we had to have ice for our cocktails.
Absolutely,
and we did.
Actually, I don't know if you gents can see it, but right back here, Fig, there's mine. I bought that right after we got back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like I said, little nuggets of gold the entire time. That was well planned by our trip commander.
Nice.
Well planned. We identified the threats and we mitigated them as early as we could, and that was the first threat. Ice, baby. That was it.
Can't drink warm gin, for goodness sake. No.
Oh, hell no. Life's too short for that.
Right? So, all right. Yes. So I'm 18 years old. I'm wrapping up high school. How do I do this Air National Guard thing?
Well, there's a couple of different options. GoGuard.com, I believe, is the current recruiter website. And if not, they're going to hear this and I'll walk into the office the day after this airs to 1,000 emails. You got that wrong, Derrick. Yeah, my bad. reach out to me if you're curious. The show will have my contact information, but just Google search Air National Guard, and a map should come up, and it'll triangulate down to the closest location nearest you or where you would like to serve. And then you reach out to a recruiter. They can talk to you about job availability and this and that. But you don't have to serve at the location that's closest to you. You can, I mean, we have members, and Fig, you'll remember this. We have members that in Missouri that live down in Florida and Texas,
Right.
that would travel up. So I mean, you're not bound to the state to which you live in. You can serve anywhere.
Right. Well, for instance, I mean, it's close, but my daughter got hired in the Rhode Island Air National Guard, and that's
Absolutely, the roadies.
Yeah. So, which we're excited about, and it was really cool. I got to administer her oath of office a couple weeks back. One of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do. So, yeah. And if you're a college graduate, it's possible to get hired right off the street, having never done anything more than point at an airplane and say airplane, and get hired as a pilot. Now that's rare, but possible. So,
and I think the other cool thing with that too is what airframe you're going into. Whereas with the active duty, it's luck of the draw and it's performance based.
Yeah,
there's some threat there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you like to eliminate your competition, then come see us. Come join the Guard.
Right. I can't imagine how much more fun flight school would have been if I'd have known I was going to a given airframe.
Right.
And not had to worry about every single flight was an evaluation, which, I mean, you still want to do your best, but oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're not competing with anybody because you know what you got. You know where you're going.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice. That's a little peace of mind is what that is.
Yeah. Hey, could you differentiate the difference between the difference between the Air National Guard and the Air Force, and what
and the Air Force Reserve?
Air Force Reserve, and how all that works.
Yeah. Tell us that, Derrick. I dare you.
No, I'm gonna.
Hold on. Does anybody know?
I mean, so I might learn something here. I've never figured it out myself.
Well, I guess here's a good way to explain it. This is something one of the first things I learned coming up to the Guard Bureau. Because your total force, which is your three components. When people hear Air Force, they typically just think, okay, Air Force is Air Force. And yes, the Air National Guard and the Air Force Reserves, we all wear the same uniform that says United States Air Force on it. However, there's three different components that do make up the Air Force. You have your REGAF, which is your active duty counterparts. When they go in, they serve under an enlistment. So there is never any break in their orders. They may transfer from one set of orders to a second set, but they're always covered under a pretty much a conditional set of orders. Then you have the Air Force Reserves. The Air Force Reserves is an extension, a reserve component of REGAF. And they're their own MAJCOM. Yep. They're their own MAJCOM. But beside that, they typically function in a capacity that's relatively similar to REGAF. I mean, there are definitely differences between regular Air Force and the reserves. But the biggest differentiation between all three is the Guard. And what makes the Guard different from the reserves and REGAF is we actually have two commander-in-chiefs. So we serve, the President of the United States, but we also serve under our state's governor. So depending on what type of orders, what type of training, exercise, or operation you might be falling into, or set of orders, I should say, you may be serving a different commander-in-chief, but you serve under two, and the Guard is expanded that way because not only do we support global ops and things of that nature, but domestic operations, hurricanes, the wildfires, typically out on the West Coast, but they're, everywhere. And then, of course we have our Antarctic mission, the folks in Schenectady, the ski birds up there. And those three differences, or those three mission sets, are just a couple of examples of how the Guard is very different from active duty and reserves. Even though the reserves and the Guard are both considered an ARC, an active reserve component of the REGAF.
Okay.
I got it. I got another question right in those lines, Derrick.
Shoot.
So for guard members, we can have different we can serve under different titles of orders, right?
Correct.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
So, yes,
and what it means, and what it means,
yeah.
the different titles.
So we'll try to just keep it simple. Title 32 is for the state, and your Title 10 is for the president, for active. That's really to try to keep it as clean as possible. There are different shades of gray that come in there, but then there's also non-order pay statuses that guard members can fall under too, like your AFTPs. Fig, you remember this from flying. It's a pay period, and for then your drill status guardsmen as a whole, that's including all of your career fields in the Air National Guard. You know, a common, I guess, quote or name for us used to be weekend warriors, and that's your 1 weekend a month drill period that you do. That drill of a Saturday and Sunday is typically broken out into 2 periods per day.
And then you got your 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year. So the 2 weeks a year is considered AT, or annual training days, right?
Correct.
It can get very confusing. Would you say what AFTP stands for?
That is it's a flight training period. Yes. Additional. I was trying to remember what the A stood for. See, that's he's still got it. The commander's still in there. I'm thinking other numbers, palm and shit like that that's rolling around in my head.
I know, right?
Yes, additional flight training period is the one that Fig's referring to, and there are several different others. As a matter of fact, saying kind of goes, there's 54 different ways or flavors to get paid in the Air National Guard, because there's so many different pots of money that can pay you for various duties and drills. Most come without the benefits of being on a consecutive order of 31 days or longer, and stuff like that. But there's a ton of different ways to get paid, and it's not uncommon. And Fig, you remember, I'm gonna have to give a shout out to him, the man, the legend himself, Kerry Mills. I think he went back-to-back years of being paid over 400 days in a 365-day period. I think he went almost 440 days in a 365 period, which that doesn't math. But when you break the days up 2 periods per day, if you're a quote unquote guard bum, a hard charger, man, you can make it happen. And there's people out there that do it all the time.
Yep. Excellent example.
Here's the other cool thing. I think that like in 11 years active, I did 7 different duty stations. Well, they weren't all different because I was at Cherry Point 3 times in 11 years, but 7 different duty stations moving around. Join the Air National Guard, you're going to deploy probably, but you're not moving all over the world,
right?
Like you would if you're in the Air Force. They own you. They can send you to Alaska. They can send you to Antarctica. They can send you anywhere.
And that brings up a very good point. Derrick, can you touch on the importance of why the Guard is usually very particular before they hire somebody in their unit, especially for a flyer?
Oof. Yeah. And that's kind of a policy that it's not necessarily written, and I shouldn't say that it's a policy in itself. It's a procedure we do like to follow in vetting, but you can open yourself up to a poor investment. We'll put it that way. That's absolutely detrimental to. I mean, as low level as just managing a flight, all the way up to a group level mobilization. And it takes, one toxic pool, as you guys have more than, countable experience in your careers. It takes one person to kind of really set a negative tone within the squadron. So we try to do our best to really interview and get a good feel for, the folks that do have some interest in joining the crew positions, because, we look at it from a perspective of, okay, I might spend, X amount of undisclosed months in an undisclosed location where we're basically sharing a tent together. So I got to be able to trust you and know you pretty well to know that, well, you're not the type that might slit my throat in my sleep, or, who knows? But we try to do that, just to make sure that we're getting the best of the best.
And unlike active duty that you hinted about there, repeat, active duty, you're probably in one unit for maybe 2.5, 3 years, and then you're moving. But in a guard unit, you're there for life.
That's
a career.
There's the rub. So that's why it's really important to know what you're buying. Otherwise, it can be bad.
It's not short-term needs.
Ask me how I know that. You're kind of
unusual going to DC, So, but going to the DC area, that's kind of unusual. It's possible in the Guard to do something like that, to move, but the exception rather than the rule, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And I knew about them when I came out here, but DC actually does have a Guard. The Capitol Guardians that are also here at Andrews. But most people that end up in DC are like me. They accept a staff position for part of development and with intentions to return to the state or whatever the case may be. So it's the assignment that I'm at and the location where I'm serving is probably as close as you'll get to being in an active duty environment in the Guard.
Okay.
Because you typically have people that are on 2, 3, maybe 4-year tours at best, and then they either go back to their state or another state happens to see their value and swoop them up.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
And what are you doing now? Are you comfortable chatting about that?
Yeah, we can chat about it a little bit. So I served as the flight engineer functional manager, managing the fixed wing and rotary wing flight engineers. On the rotary wing, they're actually called special mission aviators. But I got to manage those guys for 5 years. Wonderful group of folks all around the globe. And then I took a jump into the position of a mobility action officer. To kind of in a nutshell, what I tell people when they say, well, what the hell do you do as an action officer? I mean, just about anything that comes through my mobility division tasker. I mean, from aerial events, evaluation waivers, training waivers, exceptions to policy. If you can come up with it, chances are it probably at least skips across my desk for review. And then, other various things outside of that. But that, in a nutshell, briefly, that's what I do as the action officer in my current assignment.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you are the Air National Guard C-130 flight engineer guy.
I was, yes.
Oh, you're doing something different now? I'm sorry.
Yep. No. I switched assignments about 1.5 years ago. But that's what I came out here to do. Yes.
I missed that. Okay.
You're filling up the ice machine, weren't you?
Probably was.
Attaboy.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, I'd like to shift gears just a little bit. Obviously, things are going on in the world right now, and we got men and women from the regulars, the reserves, and the Guard all over the planet right now, and some particular hot spots. And you brought to our attention the other day something called Operation Old Spice.
Indeed.
Let's chat about that a little bit. Yeah. What is Operation Old Spice, and why is that important, sir?
So Old Spice is just kind of a bros helping bros, and this is ladies included. Just figure of speech.
Ladies can be bros.
This is kind of it's just cool dude with long hair, right?
Yeah.
There's kind of a way of us taking care of each other. I mean, you've been down range, and the importance of having a day off, perhaps, or maybe just on your way out to a pre-flight, and you make a quick stop at the day room, and I don't know. There's a couple of hydration packets or something. Like, well, shit, it's better than just warm water all day. It might as well be flavored warm water, on this 16+ hour sortie that we're getting ready to knock out. But just having those kind of things there, and those are typically just packages, from random, groups or families, that have, rounded up from their local communities and sent them our way. Unfortunately, right now, that's not necessarily the case. So rather than, trying to figure out the whys of, well, where's the support coming from, we're just kind of grabbing the bull by the horn, so to speak, and trying to get these brave men and women over there who are doing the good deed, the minimal support they need. I'm talking anything from a stick of deodorant, bar of soap, just the basic replenishments that you'd pick up at your AFI store, minus booze, of course. But they don't really have access to that stuff right now. So what a group of those members have put their heads together and come up with a GoFundMe that's ran by a Title V individual. And the purpose really is to just to build up some funds and be able to fund source a request list that comes from these said individuals at the various undisclosed locations and what they're short of. And what these funds do is these funds go out and purchase, the requested items, and then, by way of various airlift opportunities, I'll say, these requested items happen to make it there, within a couple of days. So, it's no different than any other GoFundMe that you would think of. It's obviously there to support a cause of some sort, but this is a direct funding source to be able to purchase these items by a group of individuals and then send them down to the folks that need it.
That's pretty badass.
It's
really
awesome.
is.
Because the logistics haven't caught up yet, and they might not for a while.
That's the major concern, is that they may not. And so rather than, wait for the wheel to get up to speed, let's just go ahead and let's grab it.
Well, there's a couple hundred people out there, so getting something to everybody is kind of difficult. That's what was Napoleon talking about? An army runs on its logistics, on its stomach, and so getting it there, and as long as people are able to do it on the side, that's good. I put on the video the link to it. It's gofundme.com/F as in Foxtrot /Operation-Old-Spice-Help-R-Airman. So gofundme.com. Just Google gofundme.com Operation Old Spice, and you'll get that link. And we'll put it also in the blog entry for episode 204.
It's the stuff you don't think about. That's shit. We need. Give an example, Derrick, because you I saw it in your
necessities too, not just a liquid hydration.
Yeah. I mean, you talk just to grab a refill of razors, or just disposable razors at that. I mean, hell anymore, you can't go to a Walmart and get that shit for less than $8. And I mean, $3.50 a day, that's not necessarily going to cut it. But I mean, you're taking both those limitations out. One, it's out of cost, and two, which is the bigger one, they don't have any place to purchase this stuff.
That's the rub right there. There's nowhere to get it.
Yeah, where the hell do you go? Because I mean, if you did have time, step into the Jet, that was always a place you stopped, was the grab and go, or the snack bar, and you grab a couple of things and you make your way. And those are kind of the over the tops that keep you focused and engaged, and make the mission that much easier to get through. And I mean, these guys are whatever they humped over there with them is depleted, so they're at bingo.
Yeah, bingo. That's no good. Toothpaste, deodorant, body wash.
Yeah.
I mean, just this stuff, you're like, hey, I don't know how long I'm gone, but this is what I got with me. I'll get some when I get there. And you get there like, oh shit, I can't get it.
There's none floating by you in the Persian Gulf.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Shit, Fig used to say all the time up and down the squadron, and especially at guard drills, and how the fuck can we fight a war without any coffee? I mean,
right? That's the thing.
When you're down to sucking on a coffee bean just to get through a mission, well, that sucks.
No. Coffee, rippets. I mean, gotta have it.
The essentials, brothers. The essentials. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, you mentioned just very flippantly this guy. He's a Title V guy. What's Title V? What's that mean?
So a Title V, and you know what? I'm going to plead ignorance on this one, man, because I don't ever plan on, and I don't really work with Title V folks. But to my knowledge, and shit, if this is still rolling around in your nugget, Fig, good on you. But
I don't know. I was hoping you would know.
No, you're an active civilian.
Oh, okay. Like
is basically what it comes down to. So you're still building retirement time.
Yeah.
But you don't fall under the rest of the military requirements.
Would that be like a GS person?
It's sort of like a GS, only it's a different pot of money that you're paid from.
Okay.
It's the exact same thing, only different is what you're saying.
Yeah.
See, Repeat gets it.
Yeah. I get it. I got it now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been asking you
Okay.
some hard questions, bro. I'm going to lay off for a while.
Oh, no, you're
Right.
good. You're good. I love this kind of shit.
Well, and then we've got someone I don't recall seeing before. If we have, my apologies. We got Eric Henderson watching live, who came up with the additional flight training period, and I missed it in the comments when it came through. But yeah, we got knowledge out there, so send it in if you got it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can do. There's additional flight training periods you could do for the ground and for
GTs.
Yeah. So it's very confusing if you don't understand it, but when you get it, it's like, oh, okay, it's how you get paid. That's basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to hit GoFundMe right after we finish recording here and hit that up, because that's just great. I hate to see that that folks are suffering out there without some of the basic necessities. And then, and the other thing, I didn't write it down. I almost forgot about it. Fig, I don't remember if you remember. We had the astronaut on a couple years back who managed to get. They didn't give him miles for travel because he was quote unquote in a government vehicle, but they did give him per diem for meals and incidentals whilst aboard the space shuttle.
That's right. That was kind of ironic, right?
No, nothing to buy up there, but he got his per diem for meals and incidentals. But
unbelievable.
He figured he'd clean up if he could have gotten mileage out of it,
Oh my God. Yeah, no shit.
For real.
I think he had 17 million miles or something like that. And
yeah. At 186,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
No, 22,000 miles an hour, whatever it was.
Yeah,
That's
like that.
186,000 miles per second is the speed of light. That's the speed of light.
That's warp factor 1, man.
That's pretty damn lickety split. That's what that is.
Right
Yeah,
on.
dude. It's cooking.
It's a little faster than a C-130, but
Scotch.
yeah. So how long were you active flight engineer on the C-130?
So I'm still technically assigned as a flight engineer, although I mean I would be marginal at best. As a matter of fact, I just had a check ride, and I'll say it was a check ride. I'm definitely not a subject matter expert anymore, which is unfortunate in this part of your career, but that's life. But I was a flight engineer. I went to that school and training in 2008. Down at Lackland Center of Excellence. That's where you go down through basic flight engineer school. You get your wings. You have to go through a washout aircrew fundamental course, which the prior enlisted guys that were in that with me, it was not to downplay the course, but it's definitely a washout course. It was basics, how to reforms and shit like that. But then they turn you into the all-encompassing basic flight engineer course, which it's been revamped since I went through. Now it's all more set up kind of like a college curriculum type atmosphere and course. But you go through, I mean, a little bit of everything. Like I say, it's basic flight engineer. And I mean, one of the bigger ones that they go through, and responsibilities for flight engineers is takeoff and landing data. We were talking about a minute ago how, with the Guard and Reserves, what airframe you're going to. Well, in this course, they didn't care and it didn't matter. You're going to do told on anything and everything. As a matter of fact, a lot of the fixed wing told we ran on was 141s, which they're not in service. They weren't in service even at that time. If you're a fixed wing guy and you're running rotary wing told, it can get convoluted and confusing real quick. But the point and purpose of it, which I later realized, was it builds a level of confidence in yourself and your ability to understand, the different flight dynamics and how they're going to impact, each mission set day to day. So whether you were intending to go into rotary wing or fixed wing, doing both, it definitely built your awareness and appreciation, and also the importance of getting the numbers right. Because a good flight engineer once told me, the numbers don't lie when the iron's in the wind.
Right. And if you lie to them with the numbers, the iron won't get in the wind. So
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. But no, that was in 2008, and I was a guard bum pretty much consistently from 2008 until 2015. I believe it was. shit, I'm having a hard time remember. 2014, 2015, something like that.
Okay.
So that basically meant that I was a full-time college student. And then on the evenings after classes, I would go out and fly one of the AFTPs that we were talking about and ad nauseum just a few minutes ago. And then, drills, things like that. And also throwing your name in the hat for trips that your local unit would take.
Okay.
And you're trying to piece enough of that together to continue building your points. Because one of the biggest differences too, comparing guard and reserves is with the or not guard and reserves, but the active duty is you hit that 20 years later. If you continue to stay in, there's your active retirement. For the guard, it's a little bit different. Our retirement's based on a point system. Unless you become an active guard member, you're trying to reach a certain amount of points to basically be the equivalent of that 20-year active duty retirement. And I mean, that's why it's not uncommon that, in the guard, things are starting to slim up a little bit these days, but it wasn't uncommon at all to see people with, 30 plus 40, 45 years in service. Just insane. Yeah. I mean, two separate statuses. One is a technician for your technician term, and then as an active guard member for your 20 total Air Force time years. But I mean, it's becoming less and less of a thing. But it definitely still does happen, and that's kind of goes back to what Fig was saying, and the importance of vetting your crew members, especially, and who you're going to invest into. But it really works with all the other jobs, AFSCs, as we call them in the Air Force out there. Is these people you're going to be working with them. You've met. So by the time you climb up into a leadership role, you're aware of each other, and you've worked with each other on multiple occurrences, whether it be an actual mobilization or just a unit level exercise there at the base or at a training facility. You know who you're working with, and so everybody's experience and whatnot.
Okay. And then Dizzy asked, and I think I know the answer already, but Dizzy asked H models or J's as a flight engineer. And
H model. The J is the engineer and navigator killer.
Yep. Which is where they're all going.
It's the sign of the times, right?
It's and this is kind of that was probably one of my biggest hurdles getting over when I took the engineer functional job in 2019. Was our recruiting numbers were down. And it was just the rumor mill that, everybody's, our jobs are going away. We're in an extinct job. And so what the hell, why are we going to put so much, thought and effort into recruiting? And my thought process, behind that after, trying to just take grasp of the situation was, well, okay, inevitably we can't control that. Those are decisions that are made well above, our pay grades. And most of those people that make those decisions, they don't have pay grades. They're civilian elected officials, and that's the powers to be. And that's how, this whole game works. But it's control what you can in that dynamic. And for us, it's all right. Well, we can't control whether or not we become the next J model unit. But in the meantime, let's control the recruits that we do bring in, and let's bring them in with the understanding of knowing you're probably not going to retire as a flight engineer. Those days are dying, and I'm probably going to be one of the last that make it through an entire career as a flight engineer. However, a lot come in with the interest after they start flying to become a pilot. Well, what better way to season you up? Because every time you go up there and fly, there's two pilots that sit in front of me. I'm going through an interview every damn time we go wheels up. And
more than that, I'm going to offer that you're going through class too. I did 3 years as a flight engineer on the DC-10 when I got to the airline. It was my first crewed aircraft. And it was also a classroom every day, watching how they do it and figuring out who does it well and who doesn't, and who I want to model myself after. So
oh yeah.
So that's a big deal. So
yeah, absolutely.
Badass asks, is squadron you were in the squadron you're part of? Are they using the NP2000 props? I don't know what that means. Do you?
So NP2000 prop. It's funny. It's actually pretty simple. It stands for new prop in the year of 2000. The Navy first adopted the props, and slowly the Air Force is starting to pick up on them. You can tell the difference. There you go, right there. So it's an 8-bladed prop. The J models are a 6-bladed prop, which actually I have a version of it back here on the fridge.
Okay.
The
originals were the 4-bladed props.
Yeah.
Now that's your 54H60. Those are the legacy props. Those I still love them. They shake the hell out of you, and you can't have a conversation like this. You have to yell to speak to each other, unless you're on comms. But yeah, the MP2000, unfortunately, St. Joe does not have them. And the Air National Guard, yes, we are getting them. We're in the process of modifying the aircrafts to retrofit. There's a couple other modifications that go into there as well as a modernization package. But that piece, no, my current squadron does not have.
Okay. Oh, fantastic, though. And the other thing that's kind of interesting, and my wife was having a little bit of a hard time getting her head around it when my daughter got hired to C-130s, is that, that's a prop airplane. It's still a turbo prop. That's a jet engine on there. It happens to turn a prop. That's a turbine engine. It's not a piston engine. Oh,
absolutely.
So it's sophisticated and reliable and really quite cool.
Very, very. It's instant lift, man. Those blown wings. It's awesome.
Right. I'm trying to read all the comments. Yeah, I can't. Don't get old. It's bad for your eyes. I got to make my font bigger over on the right, but something about his personal favorites. But yeah, I guess those original props were, you said the Navy adapted them first. They were the E2. They were on the E2, those 8-bladed props.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Nice. All right. And obviously quieter and more efficient and everything else. But
sounds like bees. Sounds like a hive of bees, honestly. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way. But yeah, instead of like you said, the big thumping that you have to shout over. So all right.
Well, speaking of flight engineer stories, do you have any good ones where maybe the knuckleheads that were sitting in the seats forward to you on the left and the right side were doing shit that just scared the living shit out of you? Or did you have any surprises or
even a third set of eyes to keep them from doing something stupid? Because that's why you're there.
Yeah. What do you got?
Yeah, absolutely. Crew save's a good save, right?
Always, every time.
Man, it didn't take long for me early in my flight engineer career to develop an appreciation for a coordinated stick, because not just is it uncomfortable for me, but I also try to put myself in the perspective of my load masters in the back. And a common trend item that I saw early on, and I mean, you still see it in junior pilots, is centering the ball. And Fade, you used to harp on this too. I can remember a couple of flights, you harping on a student about this one. But just kind of joke with them like, hey, what's today? Well, I don't. It's leg day. Put the fucking ball in the center. That's the load master slamming around in the back, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I know you don't feel it up front here, but gracious.
Yeah. So we've got non-pilots in the audience. Can you explain what a coordinated stick and centering the ball and all that stuff means? Because, they're thinking of driving down the road and not 3D.
Yeah. So your third dimension is that rudder that left and right deflection, and there's a ball that's in the instruments, and that represents an even flow. It may not be straight and level. Typically it's level, but it may not be straight to the naked eye. But to make it through the atmospheric conditions, you need that rudder input to stabilize the aircraft so that it feels and simulates that it's a stable platform. And the further back in that aircraft you get, which a C-130 isn't that long, to be completely honest, with most, in comparison to most other airframes out there. But man, when you're in the back and your pilot up front is kind of all over the place, man, it shifts you pretty good. Just to put into perspective, I had the opportunity to go fly on one of the ACE 130s, the H model version, before they retired in 2019, and they did a demo of a coordinated howitzer 105 fire and an uncoordinated. And I mean, when that 105 goes off and it's not coordinated, it tosses you a little bit. You can go for a ride. So, pilots, the thing to think about, as your passengers, everybody, behind your flight station 245 and the C-130 is think about everybody, after 245, what little bit you feeling up front, they're going to feel a hell of a lot more in the back. So just kind of be cognizant of that.
Oh yeah. In fact, you mentioned it that way. We were riding down here to Houston last week. My daughter was sitting next to me on the airplane, and once on the takeoff roll, guy bounced her head off the. She was sitting by the window. Guy bounced her head off the wall. I go,
wow.
Yeah, don't worry about that rudder. That's for the professionals to use, man.
Oh my gosh.
Technique only. Technique only.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So coordinating the airplane. Yeah, because the further back you are too, the farther, the more force it's accelerating on you. Hit with. So
just the end of the whip. At the end of the whip.
Absolutely.
But you asked about a terrifying moment. I would probably say, looking back on my career, the one moment that was the most terrifying to me was not the opening teaser. When I finished my 4-year degree, and
oh my God, you got worse.
Yeah. When I finished college, and was really starting to get into full-time guard bumming. So this would have been 2012. Yeah, it would have been 2012 for about 6 months. I got to go down and augment, fly with the schoolhouse. And won't go into like any of the class stuff, but we were in a formation and went to do a maneuver. It was basically two simultaneous turns where you exchange leads, hook turn.
Okay.
And there's a prescribed bank angle that the maneuver is supposed to be executed at, and I was in number 2. Well, the instructor pilot was in the right seat. The aircraft commander upgrade was in the left seat. And I got to pause the story there because it's a 2-part story. This was about the time, it was about 6 months or so after the C-17 crashed at Elmendorf. And we all had to watch that, in the ready room fig. So that was the first thing that came to mind as this happened. So now go back to the scenario. We start this turn and no comms, no nothing. The instructor grabs the stick and just starts to excessive roll. And the only thing I can really, really, truly remember, like blatantly, was the navigator screaming bloody murder. I'm yelling bank, bank, bank as I'm sliding behind the left seater's seat, holding the damn seat. And I see that we have broken well beyond 90.
Oh, shit.
And I thought, fuck, we just bought the farm. And I actually said it at the time.
You were probably at low level, were you not?
We were. I think 1200 A, which was pretty high considering the maneuver and the flying the route. But yeah, I even said to my family, I love you, because I thought that was it. I thought we were down. Was able to manage, pull it out, obviously. And then there was kind of that, 10-second complete silence of everybody was processing what the fuck just happened. And I'll never forget it. The instructor, his boom for his mic piece had ended up here, which is why we couldn't hear him talking when he took the aircraft from the AC. He gathers his composure, puts his mic down in front of him, and he goes, "All right, are we good to continue?" It's like, are you fucking
you gonna do that shit
dude?
again or not? I got one question.
What's the bank angle limitation in this thing? Because we just doubled it. Like, fuck no, we're going home, man. And we kind of talked about it on the way, and I give him a little bit of credit because it was kind of that whole fog of what just happened. But we had come to an agreement, before we actually went wheels down, and we sat in in the transient spot, Chalks running for about 30 minutes just to talk over everything and make sure that, we had all our shit in one sock. But it was, and from his perspective, I can understand it. He wanted to make sure he was covered too. And he wanted to explain the why, even though, we could have done that in the heritage room afterwards. Just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page, and not necessarily like we're trying to fabricate a story and get on the same page, but he wanted to answer the whys before we got into the squadron and started having to answer the whys on top of the, well, what did you see? What did you see? And sort of thing. Yeah. So it ended up being uneventful. They did NDI the aircraft, and thankfully there was no structural damage to it.
Yeah. NDI is a non-destructive inspection, ultrasound
correct.
And that X-rays and all. Okay.
Correct. And so I think the bird was released to fly later that week, because I think this was a Monday sortie.
Was he maneuvering because he thought there was a midair potential, or what the hell happened?
Yeah, what was his story?
That was his reasoning. And then the navigator later stated that he saw number one's wing coming into the window while we were in the turn. So the thought was, or the fear was, that lead had executed a higher bank angle.
Yeah.
And we were gonna kiss,
trying to get away from him. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's why he rolled, and just, honestly kind of hoped for the best, but thankfully the student that was in the left seat, he called out knock it off. And so everybody did roll level, so that would have stopped, lead from continuing to turn into us. But yeah, it was something.
Oh, that is terrifying.
That is terrifying. I'm just glad my name wasn't mentioned in that story. I thought you were going to tell me I scared the hell out of you.
I was going to say, Fig, which were you? Were you lead? Or,
no, I wasn't part of that
upgrade.
No, sir. No, sir.
There's been some times of scaring the hell out of me with Fig, but they've all been pretty good for the most part.
There you go.
Oh, so I would say if you want to do a scared the hell out of me moment, you'll remember this one. We don't have to tell the whole story, but scared the hell out of, and this wasn't because of Fig. This was just with Fig. But going back to Cameroon, do you remember when we got rolled up?
No, refresh my memory.
There was a group of about 12 of us that was walking back from dinner, and we decided to take the path of least resistance.
Oh, went through the neighborhood, and the dudes rolled up on the motorcycles with guns. Yes.
It was oh shit, we're gonna die, and then I think you might have been the one that they asked for ID or something, and you pulled your ID, and it was like long lost friends reunion. I was like, oh shit, give me a hug, brother, and it's like, well, never mind those AK-47s and all.
Yeah, we were cutting through a neighborhood that looked pretty, it was officer
secure
housing, right?
Yeah.
It was officer housing, and these dudes were the military police incognito. They rolled up on motorcycles, had guns. They were kind of in civilian clothes, and we're like, oh shit.
This isn't where I parked my car.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. All good.
Fantastic.
I deleted that from my data bank. Thanks for bringing that back.
It's back. It's back.
Put
brother.
That penguin back on the iceberg. Oh man! All right. Well, hey, I want to mention one other thing. Then I want to get into what your big project that you're doing now on the side. You mentioned flight engineers going away and guys wanting to become pilots. Do it now while you still can, because believe me, when they can get rid of the pilots, they're going to do that too.
Yeah. I still think the engineers are going to be around for several years to come, because the H models do have plenty of life left in them. But to your point, I hate to admit it, but it's the writing on the wall. We are a dying breed, and the opportunity to be a flight engineer, it's freaking awesome. I absolutely love it. I do miss my crew chief days, because they were a blast, and it established my foundation and baseline for my knowledge, not only with the C-130, but just being a member of the Air National Guard. But becoming a flight engineer has just been, it was by far the best decision I ever made.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I want to talk about DCArtworks.net. obviously you're sponsoring the show, and we're deeply appreciative of that, man, because
my honor. It's my honor.
no one else lacks the financial sensibilities to. No, so in all seriousness, can I tell about your upcoming project, or do you want to keep that on the lowdown for now?
I mean, it's still in the beginning stages, but yeah, by all means, please do.
Okay. So among other things, those of you who've listened to recent shows know that DCArtworks does laser cut steel patches and military emblems and logos and all kinds of things. And he's got some behind him. He's going to show us some of it, I'm sure, here in a moment. But one of the things he initially offered to do, we got the Harrier Sundown coming up in June of 2026 here. So a couple more months, and then Harriers will be no more in the United States inventory. And he was going to do a 4-foot squadron patch for the Bulldogs. And they have now come back and said, love that idea. Any chance you can do squadron patches for the other 8 squadrons, so that at the sundown ceremony, we have all the squadrons that ever flew Harriers. And so it looks like there's going to be 4-foot patches in steel that people will be able to get a picture next to their old squadron in a giant patch. So I'm really excited to see what those are going to look like. I've got the 2-foot Wings of Gold, as does Fig. I'm commissioning, and I guess I'm going to have to wait for it now because you got some business coming up. It's going to take your time up. But I want an old Bulldog patch for my fighter bar when I get it finished here in the basement, which is almost
who the hell would
done. So, right? So, yeah. How'd you get into that? And show us some of what you got there. I mean, you've got it over your shoulder.
Yeah, I took the liberty of decorating my fridge. There's shit all over my basement bar here that I've done. But really, sky's the limits. I mean, you just talked about it, and here's a little bit closer example of the Wings of Gold.
3D.
This is actually from one of your listeners who ordered this a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
It's on the way, brother. Appreciate your business.
Nice.
I like to tell people, first and foremost, you go to the website and you're just going to get a general idea of what we can do. When you actually see the product in person, it speaks and sells itself. The pictures just online don't do it justice whatsoever. But I use the website, and like you explain on the shows, it's kind of a starting point. It gives you kind of an idea, it gets the creative juices flowing of the possibilities, what can be done, what we can do. And I can guarantee you, if it's not on the website, we may have already done it. It's just trying to be almost a one-man band. I have a little bit of help, but for the most part, it's me. Trying to manage all of that and keep the website updated is next to impossible. I just recently acquired a team to start helping me do that, and they're in the process of updating the website now. But the point being is the sky is really the limit. There's a few fabrication limitations that I do have, but I've been blessed enough as I've been growing, and when this started as a hobby to now becoming a full-blown business, is I'm increasing in those capabilities as well. But this really just started out as a hobby. It was something kind of a side gig, if you will, to help kind of offset some I'll just say it, some post-divorce debt.
There you go.
And
what do you that cost money?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Weird.
Indeed. But no, it started out as something that, I could kind of do this and make a couple of things for, Jim Bob down the road, or so-and-so's business, next door. And it's really started to take off. Now I'll use kind of my position, to help getting the word out there in the marketing, because word of mouth, other than, your show and then a little bit of marketing that I do via the website, word of mouth is really how I've been able to expand. I've been doing this for coming up on 3 years. Yeah, 3 years now. But thank you. Every single day I'm learning something new and something more and more that I can do. Like, for instance, like the wings you guys have are little 2-foot wings, and I didn't think that I had the capability to until I decided to give it a shot. But there's a set of Air Force 12-inch wings.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
nice.
And so, I had a customer reach out.
Are those lead? Are those lead?
Yeah,
It's hardened steel.
no, but
Okay.
but really, they're out of lead. Air Force wings are made of lead. You know, Navy wings are made of gold. Everybody knows that. I mean, come on.
So to speak. But yeah, it was kind of just a hobby that exploded, to not ramble on too much. And it's become something that
keep rambling on, because I'll tell you what, these things they're just gorgeous. I mean, the wings, I love them, and they're you look on the website. These things are 4 foot. Some of the patches you've done, squadron emblems, that sort of thing, they're 4 feet. You sent me a picture of a flag and a cross. It was just amazing. These are not stamped aluminum crap.
No.
They're handcrafted, laser cut, and hand finished, and they're just gorgeous, Derrick. I gotta say, man, you have stepped into a niche market here that is beautiful. It's art. Artworks.net is not an understatement.
No. I appreciate it, guys. Again, I mean, it's this stuff is a lot of fun, and the possibilities are, like I say, endless. I can't wait for you guys to see these patches in person, because again, you can look at a picture all day and it doesn't really do it justice, but I'm confident, and repeat, we were talking about this a little earlier, before the show, when the Harriers make their final landing, and these things come out there, so folks can do their final tour of the jet, take their picture in front of their old squadron. A pleasure that an artist gets is kind of seeing, their artwork appreciated, and the excitement and enthusiasm and the questions that come from folks. And I mean, when my wife and I will go do craft shows and stuff like that, and a lot of craft shows, we hardly sell a damn thing. It's mostly answering questions, and it's a show and tell. It's, hey, here's some shit we can do, and oh, cool.
Yeah.
And we hand them a business card, and then next thing you know, them or a family member or neighbor or whatever is reaching out, and it just kind of elevates from there. Hey, can you make me this? Hey, can you make me my old barn or ranch logo? We're refurbishing the barn and would like to put something up. Can you powder coat it? And yeah, absolutely. Where is this going to, and how soon do you need it? And kind of go from there.
Boom. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that.
They really are. And then I forget, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, we were kind of chatting back and forth on the text, and the ability to cut out a 4-foot piece of steel, that machine isn't free either, because some of your pieces are, I would say, worth every penny, but it's not pocket change. It's a piece of art you're going to buy, but understand, as you said, I think you put it, the machines to do this cost more than a lot of cars cost. So
yeah.
It's not cheap. It's definitely not a cheap hobby to get into. That's for sure. So it's kind of one of those, and I learned this early on with the beginning equipment I had. If you're going to dive into this, you got to dive full in, and this is a full send effort, because if you do it half-ass, it's just eventually it's going to fall down.
You're wasting your time. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you really have to fully commit and dive into it and just go. And I mean, that's what I've chosen to do, because as I started to evolve with skills, with metalworking and fabrication and stuff, I started to realize that, holy shit, not only am I pretty decent at this stuff, but I actually really like this. And my
that's a win-win, buddy.
Yeah, my intention honestly was to go into the airlines when I retired, and this is becoming enough of a successful thing that I retire in a couple of years. I have no plans of doing that. I'm going to do this shit full time.
Awesome.
Would you hold up to the camera again either one of those sets of wings? Because I'd like people that are watching or can go to our YouTube channel and see. So go search. So there I was on YouTube and look. So it's not just cut steel. And if you could tilt them back and forth just a little bit, nice and slow like that. Yeah. So you can see they're 3D. Yeah. But you can also see it's not just cut out steel. He hand finishes each part of this. These are
it's badass.
Amazing. I'm
looking at mine across the room right now. It's it's just incredible. It jumps off the wall at you because it's 3D, But when you're looking straight at it, you get it. It's 3D. But when you're on an angle, it's like, holy shit, that's 3D layered.
Yep. Yep. And so the same thing with the patches on the wall, because I've gone and visited the units that have ordered patches from me. I've done them the pleasure of I've hand delivered them to the the leadership. And once you put it up and you kind of do that pass by down the hallway, it's pretty badass because it is kind of like a hologram. It moves with you and everything. And you kind of want to really get up there and investigate it. And I mean, you're not necessarily investigating it to look for flaws in the work. It's just more of a like, well, how the hell did they do that? And holy shit, I didn't realize that. And you start to look at some of the fine details and wow, there's a lot of thought put into that.
I know.
Yeah, your finished work is immaculate.
Yeah,
appreciate it. I appreciate it, guys.
Well done.
So, well, damn, we've been going at it quite a bit here. I think we probably ought to consider landing the airplane after we close the loop.
I gotta know how the end of this. So wait, I know it ends well. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking. Yeah,
close. That's what I'm saying. Got to close the loop on the
absolutely.
There. So you weren't going to fly. You were going to fall with style.
I think that was maybe the possibility. So all right. Before I close that, I'll give you an option here because I have heard this come up on the show a couple of times. There's been a lot of questions, that have asked, what was it like to fly with Fig? I do have another really good Fig story I could throw in there.
Oh,
do it, man. Oh yeah, do it.
If you'd like to, I'm sure the listeners would love to hear it. So,
all
I have to say is a location. You know exactly the story I'm going to tell.
All right.
Key Largo.
Oh shit! All right.
Yes, sir. So there we were. 9 a.m. We are on a 3-day trip. So that means a day to get down to Homestead, day to do the mission, then day to return back to Missouri. Day 2, we show up for the user 0800. You remember this, Fig?
Yeah.
By 0:45, I still have a picture of one of the Loadmasters in the back of the U-Drive cracking a first one because we were done for the day, baby.
Yeah.
And Fig and our co-pilot had, done like all good, drivers, crew, O's do on a trip. They seek out some fun and some awesome crew destinations that we can all partake together. So we jump in this bus and make our way down to Key Largo. And so there we were starts with, we are on a beach surrounded by snowbirds, which those who don't know, those are retirees, next to a tiki bar, 9:30 a.m., and our beloved Fig is leading us through a deck of cards workout, and these people are losing their fucking mind at what's happening next to them. Because he's chanting out Marine Corps cadence, and it was so good. We got a couple of the hotel tenants, some of the resort tenants, to come and join us in the workout. You remember that?
Yeah.
We were recruiting members in the middle of a damn workout. We won't go any further than that, but there was a couple of flashbacks as that story continued to unfold throughout the day where we ended up almost basically walking on water on the reef. I'm sure you remember that because it was supposed to be a couple of boat tour, and we decided that we weren't really interested in doing anything else but just cruising and boozing. And the boat captains were happy to oblige, so we skipped about 90% of the tour, went to the next gas station and filled up the boats and just had a freaking blast.
I think we bought every beer they had in the cooler and put them back on the boats and
there was a couple that were Luke that maybe I shouldn't say Luke. There were a couple that might be cold, as in room temperature cold. But we wanted it. We're like, fuck it, we'll take it. Absolutely. How much more you got? So that proceeded into later on. The crew kind of got separated and then slowly started to find their way back together. We may have been asked very kindly to leave an establishment because we started an ice fight.
Yeah.
I think that's
which
probably
then
the
rolled
first time
into
in your life you've ever been asked to leave an establishment that day.
which then might have rolled into just before the hotel. Our crew bus stopped at a stoplight, and there was a mass exodus of, well, I shouldn't say mass, because it was about half of the bus unloaded, and we started doing push-ups right there on the side of the road at, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Post-workout.
I don't know who led that effort, but I do remember being part of it. But it was an absolute blast, and I always tell that story as my best guard story as far as trips go that I've ever been on. The flying was awesome. We got to basically break off after we did our drops and do a little low-level tour of the Keys prior to. So when we got down there, the snowbirds quickly realized who exactly we were. Like, hey, you're the guys that just fucking buzzed us. You know, you woke us up for our morning cocktails.
Yes,
but,
we did.
Yeah, we sure did. But I also remember. You remember the landing you made that day?
No.
Well, it was a fighter-like landing, and this is coming from a non-fighter guy. But as an engineer and a non-pilot, I found a lot of appreciation. I thought it was pretty fucking cool that we landed and held the nose wheel off forever. And I remember the tower going, that's pretty damn awesome. We're still rolling out. Yeah, it was cool. It was a fighter landing, or what I would call a fighter landing. You guys probably have a more technical term for that. I'm just a dumb sweaty.
Nice.
It was an accident. I didn't know the nose gear wasn't on the ground.
Yeah. No.
You know what? I'll plead stupid too. Absolutely. But it was a blast. But that's a story I like telling about Fig because
well, thank
it's always a blast to travel with, and that was it. The flying was fun, but it's the damn stories that he tells afterwards. That's why I'm also excited for the sundown, because I can only imagine the stories I haven't heard yet.
Oh, there'll be some good stories. We're gonna get some good stories too.
Yeah, we are.
Right?
Absolutely. We're going to be there. In fact, I'm going to reach out in the next day or so here to figure out our access and where we can set up and get them. So, all right.
But we can land this jet, and I'll tie up the opening teaser. So,
yeah,
what happened was the static line when the Loadmasters, when we opened up the ramp and door, the static line had somehow gotten tangled up in the door. And Fig, you'll remember this. For those of you that aren't familiar with the back of the C-130, we were doing a type of drop where it's a bunch of bundles. And so when you go to the back of the aircraft, that's all you see. And I mean, you have to think skinny to get from the front part of the cargo compartment to the aft portion where the Loadmasters are at. And I go back there to try to help out the Loadmasters get this line untangled. And it's one of those, you just kind of get caught in the moment and you don't necessarily think about everything you're doing. You execute with safety, but at the same time, it's like Mike Rowe says, safety third, right? So I grab a hold of the static line with another Loadmaster, and we're giving it, all the oomph we've got to try to get this thing untangled. And while I'm holding on to this damn static line, I just happen to glance out, and I'm like, oh shit, there's the Taliban. I could join them because I'm not tethered to the plane right now. The other Loadmaster grabs me and pulls me back and has a harness, throws it on. We couldn't get the door fixed, or we couldn't get the cable unwrapped, so we actually ended up landing, making an emergency landing with the ramp and door open. And that's the only time I've ever done that in my career. Got it on the ground, was able to get it unwound, took back off, got a new TOT, got the shit on target, got back to our forward location, and we were done for the day.
That is terrifying. Holy shit!
It was just another subtle reminder of, you know what? Just think before you do.
Right. Oh,
it wasn't your day, buddy. It wasn't your day.
Wasn't your time to go. Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
Oh man.
Well, thanks, brother. Thanks for coming on and sharing.
Oh, thank you guys for having me, man.
And thanks for putting out the word for the Operation Old Spice.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Just trying to do what I can for those guys downrange. I know you guys feel the same, but it's the least we can do.
And thanks for being a sponsor of So There I Was.
Absolutely. Again, my honor. I've been following the show. Well, hell, I remember the day you told me about it when I was giving you the bottle opener in the parking lot. I was like, "You have a podcast?" I mean, it makes sense, but holy shit, how come I didn't know about this? And here we are, all these years later, finally connecting, and it's working out. And I'm grateful to be part of this with you guys, and appreciate the opportunity, and I hope this goes on for years and years to come.
Repeat, it's a bottle opener that's about 6 inches long in the plan form of an Aviate-A. It's got the Marine Corps emblem emblazoned on it. It's badass. It's similar to
There's
that.
C-130.
Yeah.
He's holding up a C-130 one right now. But yeah,
I
fantastic.
got a Harrier. It's badass.
Nice. I'm thinking.
I plan on making a bunch of them and I'll have them down at the
gonna bring
sunset.
a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should. Yep.
Definitely.
Fantastic. Well, Derrick, thank you for your service. We're grateful for that. I'm going to reach out, like I said, to GoFundMe and Operation Old Spice. Donate to that today, because we got a lot of people downrange in harm's way, and to help make their lives a little more comfortable is the least that we can do. So thank you for your service.
You guys. Thank you guys for the support. I mean, you guys know just as well as I do. It's it means more than you can really put into words, and especially giving the thanks and support to the families, that we have to leave behind. Because I mean, they're the ones. Yeah, we go out and we do the suck, but damn, the shit they have to mop up and sweep up while we're gone. God love them.
I couldn't have said that any better, brother. Thank you.
Boom. Indeed. Yeah. Another quick thank you as well to Dave Hamilton over at backbeatmedia.com, who handles our advertising, and Cashfly for the bandwidth to get the show from us to you. Anyone else here, Fig?
We need to thank all of our Patreon donors who have lost their ever-loving minds and donate money to us, but we are so humble and appreciative that you do. Thank you.
Right. For all the ways to donate, so there I was.us/donate, including Venmo. Now you can send us a Venmo, and we'd appreciate that. Where should folks go if they want cool logo merch? Okay.
So there I was.us/merch.
Yeah, man. Koozies, glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. Bikinis. No,
oh, you know what? We do have a bikini. I don't think we've ever mentioned that, have we?
You bringing that bikini to North Carolina?
You damn straight I am.
God, please don't.
Sorry, Repeat.
You damn straight I bring my bikini. Why the hell not?
Oh, boy. Right? Well, it's going to be summertime.
So there I was.us/merch if you need it. There you go. Emerald Isle.
Folks on Emerald Isle and the beaches of North Carolina, bring an ice pick to poke your eyes out in case you see Fig on the beach.
Just run.
You don't want to see it. You do not want to see it. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not judging. If you do, I'm not judging. It's okay.
Hey, could you go to therewas.us/rate and drop 5 stars on us, please? We'd be most grateful if you could do that. That would be deeply appreciated.
If you can't, give that non-5-star rating to somebody else's podcast.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right? Hey, we're trainable, so if you can't give us 5 stars, tell us what we need to do to make it 5 stars.
Right. Exactly. And he's in the audience today. Badass. Made a couple comments there. I think we passed 1 or 2 of them along. But yeah, badass. BDS aviationphotography.com, who lets us use his music. So we're grateful for that at every opportunity. Sticks and Bago not here today because we blindsided him. This came up basically yesterday afternoon. We were able to schedule this and get her done. So
got to get it done when you can, right? Got to get it
right
done.
while the iron's hot, boys. That's right.
Well, the sound you're hearing in the background, that's the music of the 2 F-16 pilots that make the air farce sound good. That's the Dos Gringos.
Yeah, man.
They don't have a bad song on any of their 4 albums. I'm telling you right now, if you're having a bad day, you should listen to it. Listen to at least
Absolutely. It's a good pick-me-up.
And Bago, man, went to Winglore Spirits, grabbed a bottle of their bogey dope and put it on their album. Right on their album cover. So
that's good stuff
on there. It is
Good
indeed.
stuff.
So, yeah. All right, everybody. Until next week, thanks for joining us. Stay safe. Check. Sick.
You actually can't handle either.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
What?
He said it's over.
It's party time! P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta!
And we're out.
Woo!
Fantastic. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Badass is there. Badass, Dizzy, Eric, a couple others.
Thanks, gents. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Deeply appreciate it. Yeah. So, all right, lads and lasses, go give our shows thumbs up and stars and all that good stuff. I got to end the stream. I got to get ready to try and get myself out of here and get back home tonight. I'm not sure that's going to happen with the Northeast being closed. Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, brother.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us.